Mart today.
Holiday savings up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic at Mermaid Mattress.
You know, when guests come on 3+U, before we get on the air talking to you, we'll sit and chat a little bit. Often I'm kind of friends with the people, which is certainly the case with our next guest, Carol Minninger, who's back on the show from Rockbridge Oaks. Our time together, I think, has formed a friendship. But what's fun about it is people will sit in this chair and we'll chat. And before you know it, we're not talking the topic at all. We're talking life and philosophy.
Yes.
And, so I want to switch that, though, into why you are here, and talking about the assisted living and memory care at Rockbridge Oaks, because part of, I think, what makes you so successful with your job and your connection with the friends that now come to your community is that you know them.
Yes.
And you enjoy talking philosophy and life with them.
Yes, yes. It is the most rich and gratifying truth about my work. And in 30 years of working in assisted living communities, the rich stories and experiences that I've learned about through my little peeps who are 80 years old and 90 years old and getting ready to turn 100, the stories are just so inspiring and so rich.
So I really was not going to go here, but here I go.
Okay.
One of the things we had been talking about were our kids. We both have kids in their 20s. And this feeling you can have in your 20s, like you got to get on with life and be at a certain point. And we were saying how each decade kind of brings its own charm. So when you are now talking with people in their 80s and 90s, it's a new experience for them being this age.
It is. It is. And this conversation comes up every time because, you know, when someone finally comes to see me, and I joke about how they put that off till the last minute, nobody wants to come to an assisted living community. You know, in each chapter of our lives, you're starting a family or starting a marriage, starting a career, and then you're cultivating your children to become adults and start their marriages and their careers. But people come to me after having traveled through all of those chapters, and they can't find their purpose. They feel very lost.
Yes, you do feel very lost. I mean, I'm not in my 80s, but I can see how you would. And you don't really know who you are because you've spent your whole life caring for other people. And now what do you do?
Yes.
So when people come to you at Rockbridge, one of the surprising things for me that I learned is that you are assisted living. So you come in and you have this kind of a la carte system set up. Depending on what assistance you need, they kind of add that on for you. Very often, that assistance then gets stripped away because people get stronger.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. And I thought for a long time maybe my title should be Director of New Beginnings, because, you know, you're at home more often than not at home alone. Maybe you've lost a spouse of many years, and so there's this very new, challenging identity. And when people come to me, or the daughters come to me and say, I need you to talk to my mother, or I need my mother to consider this. And then I talk to the mother and she says, I don't want to lose my independence. I've figured this out at home, which she has, and that's a wonderful, impressive achievement. But there are all of these new beginnings and restorative experiences just waiting for you.
So not everyone can do this, but some people can. When you come into Rockbridge, it's a month-to-month thing, right?
Yes.
I was having this conversation with my mom, who was still very much independent, but she's 92.
Yes.
And I said, Mom, why don't you think about keep the house,
Right.
but go. Give yourself a vacation.
Yes.
Go for the week and come home for the weekend, like Meg will in college.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Does that happen?
It does happen. It does. Sometimes there's sort of an event or experience that prompts it. Maybe somebody's had hip surgery, or maybe their spouse has had a significant surgery. So they both come, and they just let us fuss on them and take care of them. No worries about cooking or cleaning. We have full-time therapy on site that insurance pays for. So get stronger, find yourself again. Let us cook and clean, and benefit from all of the fellowship of all of your neighbors.
Right.
Come learn why they've called Rockbridge Oaks home.
Right. But the fact that you can do that and still be tethered,
You
don't have to feel like you're completely closing a door.
That's right.
And you learn as you go.
That's right.
When we were at your place last time, I was so impressed. You took us out into the garden area. That is so pretty out there.
It is. It's pretty, and because we're new, this is our first summer, so we have a lot of opportunity. It's sort of a blank canvas, and our residents who are gardeners are enjoying being gardeners again by telling us what to plant where.
Nice.
And they can come out and tend to the gardens when they want to or feel up to it, and in the meantime, we'll take care of them.
Go ahead.
Well, so we take care of the gardens. It's not their burden, it's their enjoyment.
I had a viewer write me an email the other day that had a conversation about Alzheimer's, and he wrote to say, please remember that it's not always Alzheimer's, that there are other forms of dementia. So part of, which is very appropriate. So a minute left, but y'all also have the memory care unit where you are able to help with all different forms.
We do. We have 18 of our 62 apartments are in the memory care part of the house, and they have their own programs and their own care team and their own dining room. And regardless of why a person has had those cognitive changes, we can care for them and help them sort of blossom again.
And have that new beginning.
That's right.
So here's where you can get in touch with Carol and her team at Rockbridge Oaks. They're on Palms Court. If you don't know quite where that is, don't feel bad.
Right.
Because it's tucked away.
It is.
So if you can picture East Brainerd Road and Concord Avenue, that shortcut that you can take to get to the mall, they're nestled over in there in one of those neighborhoods, so it feels like home.
Yes.
558-2000 is the phone number, and online it's rockbridgeoaks.com. They'd be happy to take you on a tour and answer some questions.
Come join me for lunch. I'd love to see you.
When conditions are right for severe weather,